Hey everyone, welcome to the ctwinereview.com. I'm Mateo Fagan, and here we have Vanessa with the Southern Wine Group here at, of course, Southington Wine and Spirit. We have some, this is actually going to be a two-part video. First we're going to be doing some wines from Argentina, and then the next video we're going to do some Chilean wines. So Vanessa, welcome to Connecticut.
Thank you.
And welcome to, and we're going to start actually with a Bonarda. I know you're thinking Argentina. Malbec is the kind of the king of wine there right now, but Bonarda is something that hopefully people are going to start paying attention to, and that is what we're going to start with. So, Vanessa, tell us about what you have there, the Durigutti.
Sure, yeah, we are, the Durigutti lineup is kind of what we're going to be featuring from our Argentina book today. Hector and Pablo Durigutti are the winemakers with a really great reputation down in Argentina. Quite a history there. Hector started with the Altos Las Hormigas project when he was only 15 years old. And then Pablo, his younger brother, also has a great reputation. They've both consulted on, about 40 different projects cumulatively because everyone wanted them to make their Malbec and Bonarda because they just had such a great reputation and were producing such incredible wine. So they were doing that for a lot of years before they finally started their own project. It's come a long way since they started in 2002 with just 3,000 bottles. And the Bonarda is really, as you said, a little bit less discovered than the Malbec in Argentina, but has actually a really incredible history there. Up until very recently, it was more widely planted in Argentina than Malbec was, which a lot of people aren't aware of, but they used it primarily for blending in the past of their wines.
Now, a lot of people don't realize that most of Argentine wines are consumed in Argentina, and they're still only exporting. What's the recent? Do you know the recent percentage about? Is it's like 25%?
Yeah, it's 25%.
Still
fairly
so
small.
Bonarda probably falls into the category of a wine that's been consumed locally, and I think that's interesting that we just haven't heard of Bonarda, and that Malbec just gets so much attention. I think it's great that getting into some other varietals in Argentina, because it's such a great growing climate, and they do so many other great wines other than Malbec. There's been some discussion about the Charbono, Bonarda connection, that it comes from Italy. But what's the story on Bonarda?
So there's a Bonarda from Italy. So for a lot of years, everyone assumed it was the same grape, but it's since been proven that while the grape is from Italy originally, it's not necessarily the same Bonarda, and actually is, now there's much more debate that it's the same as the Charbono that they have in California. So even in Argentina, for a lot of years, they've been debating what exactly it is. And I think because they've been blending it so much, they've been trying to define it in terms of its flavor profile also up until recently. And Hector Durigutti has really been very instrumental in kind of putting Bonarda in the hands of everybody and giving it its own life. So really incredible red, great alternative to both a Malbec and a Cab. It's a bigger, more full-bodied red like those would be. But what you get from it specifically is it's so round, very ripe fruits in the front. And typically, what Hector's done with this, it shows a lot of kind of those candied, violety notes, those floral notes, which are very, very appealing, very, very elegant, and then a really nice, soft tannins on the back end that are very present, but very kind of velvety, soft tannins. So
yeah, it is. You do get a nice. I think elegance is probably the best way to describe it. It doesn't have that ruggedness or that Malbecs tend to have. They have a little bit more of I don't know what I would say, like a gaminess to them sometimes, or more of a mulberry kind of flavor, where this is a little smoother, a little bit more candied, but it's nice. It's and it's not less expensive than the Malbec. So it's obviously. Is it? Why do you think that is? Why is the price? Is there a price difference, would you say, between the Bonarda and Malbec?
There's there's not as much Bonarda being made varietal as
Yeah.
Malbec, and
Is
so
it difficult to grow, or is it easier to grow?
I think it's easy to grow, obviously because there's been so much of it. I think it's a little bit more difficult to produce, and as I said, you know, in its own style, to know figure out what the Bonarda's own traits are. But yeah, it's one of those wines that once somebody tries it and takes it home and cooks a meal with it and enjoys it at home, it is, you know, a forever new staple, like on the wine rack at home. It's just familiarizing people with what it is to start from the beginning.
Because
so.
I mean, Argentina is such a great growing climate. I don't think you can go wrong. Next up here we have the Durigutti Malbec. Nice, that's good. That's
Thank you.
that Vanna White
Practicing.
technique going. That's great. So let's see if you can get the label here so you can see that. This is no stranger to the press. I mean, it's generally gotten pretty favorable press throughout the years, and it's nice. I like the label too. It's a nice look, and it's I think it's it looks good. It's nice packaging.
Yeah.
So tell us about this Malbec. You know, before we talk about the Malbec, to give us just the scenery. Paint us a picture of the property there in Argentina and what that's like.
So he is, his winery is right on the outskirts of Luján de Cuyo, which is really kind of like the Napa Valley of Mendoza, if you will. It's kind of like the hub of Mendoza wine world. He's right on the outskirts of that there, tucked away right underneath the Andes Mountains. Beautiful, beautiful winery. He owns all of his own vineyards, so all estate winery. And he actually uses all organic farming and everything as well. The winery is certified. The vineyards are in the process of their certification right now. So yeah, all organic winery. They're unfined, unfiltered, so he really just tries to make the most natural representation of the wine to show the terroir from where he's at that he can. So I think, you know, he's done a very good job with this. He's, you know, has definitely gotten this wine out into the public enough to develop a very big following and reputation for the wine. As you mentioned, lots of, you know, big reviews for it, but, you know, just the flavor profile in itself speaks a lot, and it has just a touch of oak to it. It's from like kind of 3 separate vineyard sites within his area, all within that Luján de Cuyo region. Just the touch of oak, but keeps it, you know, the nice dark fruits, a little bit more of like some of the leathery notes than you get in like the Bonarda and stuff.
But it's not over oaked by any means, and I think that comes through. You get a real sense of the quality of the fruit that's being used here.
Yeah.
And it's another elegant style that is nice, especially in. So the production, what sort of production are we looking at?
Production here is going to be around like 20,000 cases, so pretty small. You know, all the wineries that we Southern Wine Group work with are all smaller, mostly family-owned and operated estate productions, really focused on quality, and he is definitely no exception to that. He's been referred to by numerous people as the rock star of Malbec in Argentina. You know, and his wines live up to that reputation as well. So the Malbec Classico specifically is, you know, it's a great wine at that price point, just an extremely good value in Malbec.
So now, I take it you've been to the property out there.
I have, yeah. I've been there numerous times.
What is the local favorite food pairing with Malbec? Aside from steak.
I was going to say, what else is there in Argentina? An asado. I mean, you go out, the Argentine, you know, it's like their barbecue, if you will, but yet so different than an American barbecue.
So I'm told they actually have Malbec and steak for breakfast. Is this true?
I mean, you can have Malbec and steak any time of day. It's not rare. They don't eat a huge breakfast generally, but if you wanted it, it would be readily available.
There you go. Now on to the Malbec Reserva. Right here, the 2007. Let me grab this so you can get a shot of that. Here we go. So tell us about the difference here between this and the Classico that we tried, because in Argentina, in South America, there is no actual regulation for Reserva.
That's true.
So it's,
Be careful with that.
yeah. So, but tell us what's going on in this Reserva to make it a Reserva.
Yeah, there is, Reserva is used very loosely in South America, and, a lot of these massive production wineries will just stick it on a bottle just to add that added appeal. The boutique wineries, they're focused on quality. If they put it on there, they put it on there for a reason, which is definitely what Hector and Pablo have done here. So they make 3 different tier of Malbec, actually. The Classico that we just tried, the Reserva here, and then their Familia, which is their top of the line bottle. The Reserva is just has an extra layer of complexity to it, for sure. It is from older vineyards, older vines. They are about 40-year-old vines. So that in itself,
it's really just jumping out of the glass, and you really get these inky, an inky floral kind of element that just really jumps out in the, and you, it just has a nice nose to it.
Yeah. So, smaller selections. It sees extended oak time on it. Not too much oak, and that's a very, very thin line in terms of balancing the oak, specifically in Argentina, I think. But all of the oak that they use in this is all used. So while it sees a significant amount of time in the barrel, it's all used oak, so it doesn't come across too strong. And in fact, I think it's a great example of when you use oak correctly, how it just gives it that extra level of complexity.
Not over oaked at all. Very elegant. It's really nicely balanced. It has a nice finish to it, and I think over oaking, obviously, so is sort of the theme of the Durigutti's winemaking process, which is great because they want to express the the terroir of their vineyard and what makes them unique. He obviously has some fantastic grapes that they've been producing on these vines, and that's coming through because you're getting enough body to it still, where it's not light, it's just medium bodied and approachable still, where if it was over oaked, it would just, you could see how it would just kill the wine if this was over oaked, because it's a delicate, wine. It's nice.
Yeah, a lot of interesting subtle nuances in this one. I think that it brings those, the dark fruits that you get in the Classico almost more onto the dried side, and so you get some of those almost raisiny and figgy qualities, which I in particular love in a wine, and I think it's so rare to find in a Malbec from Argentina. But just again from the difference in the aging there, and also the age of the vines. But really, really great Malbec, and fun to see. Everyone knows Malbec and loves Malbec now, and so it's fun to see if you're willing to step up to the Reserva line, to see what they're doing at that level, and it will surprise you for sure.
Yeah, great. And what's the production of this?
This is about 2,500 cases, so it's pretty small production, again. And then you go up to his Familia, his top-of-the-line bottle, that's only about 500 case production. So yeah, good stuff.
All right, great. All right, well, this is the Durigutti line here, available, of course, at Southington Wine and Spirits in Southington. And we're going to jump into Chile and see what she has from there.
All right, thanks.
Cheers.